Hey there, Dr. Schenk here with the final module where we talk about keyword research, where it's actually combination keyword and competition research. The idea is simply this. You find a keyword for which there is sufficient traffic, and we'll get to the question of sufficient in a minute, and then where there is not too much competition, and we get to that as well. What does that mean, too much competition? But when you have a keyword for which you have enough traffic and there is not too much competition, then you have a good chance of ranking very quickly, and you have a good chance of getting some of that traffic, and then you make money. Excellent. Alrighty. So the first thing people normally do is they go to the Google keyword tool. Okay, Google keyword tool. You search for it. You see this thing here: HTTPS AdWordsGoogle.com keyword tool. All right, cool. Go there, and then you will see this here. And what you do is you go and do some research. You type in RV financing, for example. And you can type in multiple keywords here. I'm not going to give you a full walkthrough through here, but you can do all kinds of things in here. But that's the classic way of doing it. RV financing, then down here you solve the riddle, kindled NC and you search. By the way, if you sign in up here, there's a sign in button. You don't need to do the whole clicking down there. Now the first thing you'll see down here is there is the keyword, competition is high, and there are global monthly searches of 22,000. Alrighty, what does that mean? That means because we have this tick up here around the thing called broad, that in the broadest sense there are 22,000 people every month who are looking for the keyword RV financing. And broad means that somewhere in the search query they're typing in, it says there's the word RV and the word financing. That could be, what is the best RV financing site? So you've got RV financing in there. It could also be something where this is totally out of order. It could be like, is financing an RV an easy thing? Okay, that is somewhere in the search phrase, you have RV and financing. Now, if we look at phrase, and click on that, it'll do a little computation and show you that as well. Now you see basically the term RV financing has to appear as is in search phrase. So if someone types in RV financing, that is a phrase match. If someone types in what's the best RV financing, that too is is a phrase match, right? And only when you go to exact match, that is the number of people who type in exactly RV financing and nothing else. So the most precise is RV financing. So you'll see that 2,900 people type in this every day, every month, monthly searches. 6,600 type in something, more than double, type in something where there is something related to RV financing. So that it's in there. And then 22,000 have RV and financing in some order in a search query. And as you scroll down, if you now remove the two here, the exact and phrase, to make it a little bit easier to see, you'll see example of this. RV financing rates, calculator, bad credit, used RV financing. Let's see if we see a nice example of a broad match where RV and financing are not together. I don't see one of the immediately, but you get the idea. All kinds of terms related to RV financing. So purely in terms of keyword research, this is the tool most people use. It's very useful. These numbers are occasionally off, but that doesn't really matter. It gives you an indication of where you're looking. And typically when you start doing SEO, the first thing your site will show up for is the exact match phrase. So this is the one you basically target first. You start looking at the exact match. That way, that's the kind of stuff that shows up first, and then all the other ones come in over time as your site develops in terms of size, in terms of authority, in terms of trust in Google. For example, I think it is Livestrong. Livestrong is, Lance Armstrong. How very topical website. And they are not primarily a weight loss site, but they have gained so much status in the eyes of Google that there are a number of weight loss queries for which Livestrong simply shows up because it has such high authority, and there's some content which is related to weight loss, and therefore when you type in these terms, it shows up for those phrases, although it's not specifically targeting those phrases. Okay, and that is because the site is so big, so old, so authoritative. Alrighty, so that is the big difference between broad, exact phrase. You want to start with exact. That gives you an indication. Now the question is, what is a good number? People keep asking, what's a good number to aim for? And the answer is, it all depends on the payoff you're getting from your keyword. Right? There's absolutely no sense me telling you 1,000 a month is good. If you're selling luxury yachts and you're making whatever, a commission of several million every time you sell one, well, one a year is probably enough, right? You just need a handful of these. So global monthly search volume of 10 is probably making you very, very happy. Whereas if you're looking, for example, the keyword tattoos, I'm going to show you tattoos because it is an awful keyword. Tattoos, I happen to know because I've tried doing something in that niche or in that market, and it failed miserably. Look at this here. 1 million people type in tattoos exactly, and if you look at the broad match, it's just ridiculous. The search volume for tattoos, 37 million already. So over 1 million people every single day type in a phrase related to tattoos. I had a couple of sites, it was kind of a test project, an SEO project, ranked on the first page, were getting tons and tons of traffic and made virtually no money, because in the tattoo market, it's not online where people look for information. Well, they look for inspiration, but the real information, the real tattooing, even the selection of designs, etc., is happening in the tattoo store and not online. All right. As a result, they spend very, very little money online. But you might, go into a market and go, "Whoa, look at this here! Awesome! Look at all this traffic. I'm going to go into the market." Never ever do that. You first need to figure out if people are willing to pay you. Okay, that is the big secret of doing SEO, and we'll get into that a little bit more in a bit more detail in a minute. Right, now I'm going to show you a couple of questions around, or a couple of tips around doing competition research. And what I've got here is, once again, we're going back to good old Market Samurai, which, again, let me repeat, you don't need to buy. You don't need this thing anymore. I just want to show you what people used to do. So if someone says, "Hey, I found these great keywords," or you read somewhere, "Hey, this is a great keyword," or "This is how you evaluate a keyword," you can then instantly decide whether it's hogwash or actually true. So what we've got here is SEO competition. SEO competition is basically how many other web pages have mentioned that same keyword, and they're fairly broad here. This used to be Google, now they've gone over to Bing because they can't pull this information from Google anymore, because too many people have used Market Samurai and Google is blocking them. But in general, the idea was this: you go to Google, google.com, and you type in RV financing. And then you see, 3.2 million results. There are 3.2 million results. That's clearly not good. If I now go to RV financing blog, oh look, 1.18 million. That's still not very good, is it? The world's best RV financing blog. Let's see. Oh, okay, that's complete nonsense. 53 million. That is because this is a broad match, okay? If we now go in and say, well, actually, give me exactly this phrase, then you'll find no results, okay? No web page on the web, at least in the index of Google, has this phrase in there, the world's best RV financing blog. But there will be a very good number that have RV financing somewhere on that site, okay? So 431,000. The reason I'm showing you this is because people have come up with all kinds of measures. I'll show you one here. It's like, okay, we've got the golden rules. Alright, if SEO competition is under 100,000, then it's a good keyword. Okay, it's complete and utter nonsense these days. And the reason is this here: in the old days, that number here meant something, and it meant it in the sense that Google was desperate to find good content or find any content for pretty much any keyword. All right, they wanted to make sure they can serve any keyword anyone ever types in. So they were indexing like mad, even rubbish ones. But sometimes they'd find so little content that they'd really say, oh, around that keyword I only really know 900 pages. Okay, cool. That was kind of meaningful because they hadn't managed to find more meaningful content. Thanks to the proliferation of computing power and Google's ability to index ever more pages, and also thanks to all the bloody spammers out there who've dumped out tons of content, there is now more than enough content. Google will always, for every single keyword you type in, they'll find something relevant. Some more, some less, but they will always find content. So their job now is no longer to desperately scrape the barrel for some content, but it's actually the opposite. It's to reject as much as possible of that content and only serve up the positive stuff. So these numbers here are pretty much meaningless now because Google has indexed so much stuff that you'll always find huge numbers. And then if you were to go in here and say, oh, golden rule, but RV financing clearly is not a good keyword to target. Well, let me tell you something. RV financing, where was RV financing? Here. Okay. There are at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different companies who think RV financing is definitely worth targeting because they're putting ads in here because they really, 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 really want to be shown for that keyword, okay? And I can tell you that these guys are very, 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 very happy that they're up here, because they can make very good money with RV financing. Had you believed this things like, oh, only 100,000, you wouldn't have gone after that keyword. Which brings us back to the original thing I said at the beginning of this year. All these things, okay, let me show you. So what you can do, what you see is one measures this here. How many pages are there? What other people say is in the title, and then, in quotes, how many websites have this in the title? And then they go, if they're more than 5,000, then it's not worth going after. Well, in this case, it's only 4,040. That's, definitely worth going. Well, how about in the URL? If someone has it in the name of the domain or of a subpage in URL, RV financing. Let's see how many of that are there. Come on. Oh, 2,000. Ooh, this clearly must be an easy one or an expensive or difficult. It depends. They're all in Anchor. How many pages are pointing to our website with the term RV financing in it, etc., etc. Okay, you can use all of these all day long. They don't really tell you anything. I'll give you another example why these things are. The first reason why they're useless is because Google has the computing power to basically index far too much content. They need to weed out content. So all these numbers are just basically useless. They're super high or they're too high. You can't go by them. The other reason it's useless to go by these things, or even how many pages are in the Google index, is this. I'll give you an example. I looked at a market in the growing light thing. So basically, I personally love growing chilies, and our growing season is too short. So what I did was, what kind of daylight lamps do I need to grow the little things so when come April, May, I can set them outside, but they already have a good growth period behind them. In the process of researching these growing lights, I also stumbled upon a sub-niche of the growing light thing where they grow illegal herbs. Let's put it this way, okay? That market is extremely competitive. They're about, the way I didn't go too deep, but the way I saw it was there was about 3 suppliers, and they all really, 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 really wanted to be at the top of the Google search engines, okay? Because they really wanted to sell their expensive herb growing lights to the herb growing aficionados. There are other markets where there is far less competition, but you're never going to see. So in that market with the herb growing lights, there was only a handful of results here in URLs like 12, in Anchor 17. You would have thought, wow, this is super easy to get into. Turns out they didn't want any more competition. There was the 3 suppliers, and they did everything they could. I mean, it was like deathmatch to be in there. And that's why, there's another reason why it's absolutely useless to look at these things. And by all means, if you've got the experience, go and start looking at the overall bigger picture. Are all these keywords, there's a big bunch of keywords in your market. Is it all at a certain level? Is it below a certain level? But overall, you really don't need to worry about any numbers, about any golden rules, long tail rules, the challenge rules, whatever. Forget about them, okay? You basically need to go in, and this is the big point I'm trying to make in this. The right way to figure out if a keyword you've got is worth targeting is to, first of all, look at the volume. Then you look at the potential payoff, and you have the business experience, okay? You have a rough idea how much you're going to get. And then what you need to do is you need to figure out if that is a converting keyword. If that is a keyword that is actually attracting the type of buyer who's willing to whip out the credit card. If you remember at the beginning, I said Google truly is, or Google traffic is the holy grail of traffic, because people are coming to Google with a question in mind. Here it is, someone who is looking for RV financing, right? The question is, and I don't know this, is someone who's typing in RV financing, are they the ones who are ready to make a decision, or are they at a different point in the decision-making cycle? Is someone who's typing in USAA RV financing more likely to whip out the credit card? Or is someone with RV financing with bad credit a good or bad customer? Now, I don't know that, and you can't tell from looking at the Google keyword tool. You can't tell from doing all the competition research you ever want to do. You can only tell by setting up a small test, and the best way to do it is basically you put in a couple of ads here, ideally here, for the keyword you're targeting. You get people to your site, and you will see who converts and who doesn't. Those who convert, those keywords where you get conversions and you start breaking even or making money, that's an indication that is that's a keyword going after. And then you start implementing your SEO campaign. That is exactly the opposite of what everyone else is telling you. Everyone else is going, look, we've got the greatest, latest keyword tool. We've got, look, I found these wonderful keyword tool keywords here. All this traffic, all this long tail, no competition, blah, 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 blah. Until you know. And here's the unfortunate thing. You are now listening to this, and hundreds, thousands of people have listened to the same message, and yet they're going out and they're doing keyword research and going, oh, this is an awesome keyword. I'll go implement it. I'll drive some backlinks at it, and then I'll do some quick testing that way. You always better off implementing a small test. Here, get some clicks to an ad, to a page on your website where you test whether people are willing to whip out the credit card. So if you don't believe me, please go and do your keyword optimization, do the whole SEO campaign, and then come back in a couple of weeks, couple of months, maybe a couple of years' time, and you will have experienced that it is a waste of your time to go out and do the whole SEO thing without knowing in advance what is going to make you money and what isn't. So let me wrap up this section then. In order to do research, you go in and you use the Google keyword tool to figure out what is a decent amount, what's a keyword with a decent amount of traffic. And decent is by your definition, in the sense of, is there money behind it or not? You then do not do all this competition research and all this other stuff here and golden rules and blah, 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 okay? It's a waste of your time. What you do is you go out and you do a little test, for example, in PPC, okay? There you go. I know. That's the one. That's the one. You put out an ad and you figure out, does it work? Does it convert into buyers? And even if this thing, if you test two keywords and they're both not even breaking even, they're making a slight loss, it'll give you an indication which one is more likely to make you money in the long run. And then you build your campaign, your SEO campaign based on that. There is one step further, which is even taking you even further away from the whole SEO thing. Alrighty? The real way for doing this is basically you go to a keyword tool, you do your keyword research, you go, here's a keyword that's worth targeting. And then you build a fully functional, profitable sales funnel around that thing. And that means you first do a little bit of PPC testing to figure out which ones are good keywords to target. Then you go out and build campaigns on the various other marketing channels. You do real marketing based on these keywords, okay? The keywords are nothing but questions people are asking. And you answer those questions using real marketing, not SEO, but you go out and go to various platforms, whether you use social media, whether you use articles, whether you use press releases, whether you go to forums, whether you do ads in other places. You've got tons and tons of options, okay? The whole point of this is that you first build a fully functioning, real profitable sales funnel based on those questions represented by keywords. And once you figured out which one is profitable, then and only then do you add SEO as a separate traffic channel on top of it. Okay, that is how you build a real business with SEO. You don't go in and do SEO because it sounds cheap and because it has this appeal of being the holy grail, etc. That is unfortunately doing it completely the wrong way around. The only thing I would add at this point is that there is still a big point to doing SEO in the sense of doing your on-page SEO, starting to look at social media, and getting the on-page factors right. Because if you are in the process of setting up a sales funnel, it is in almost all markets valuable to have a good social media presence. Just to provide that social proof, to get questions answered, get feedback from your market. It's always great to have great on-page optimization in the sense of your page loads quickly, you've got a user-friendly page layout, you've got good pictures on there that explain the stuff, you've got good videos that explain everything. All of that is solid marketing, okay? And the side effect of that is you'll have a boost in your search engine optimization. It's not the primary target or primary objective of doing all of this. The primary objective is to do great marketing, and then as a side effect, you'll have a much easier job with SEO later on. Alrighty? So, I hope you enjoyed this. Of course, this was just a quick overview, and it's already longer than I thought it was going to be. So if you've got any other questions, please let me know. And, over time, I'll keep adding more bits of information where I then answer those questions. Alrighty? Cheers.